So, in Second Life, this is my character in Second Life, Rialto Tarashenko, and I build many of these Star Wars starships. We're my new T Monopolis Bespin roleplay sim for Star Wars at the moment. And this is one of my ships I've built, the VCX 100. It's probably much better known as the Ghost in Star Wars Rebels. The Ghost is a VCX 100, a Corellian Engineering Corporation ship. The YT 1300, which people know as the Millennium Falcon, was also a Corellian Engineering Corporation ship. So this ship is a prime example of the limits of what we can do in real time. Second Life is real-time streaming media. The Star Wars Rebels is a completely, is completely free of the restrictions of real-time streaming media. They just edit everything. Obviously, it's part of the advantage of cinema. The point being that they have separate models for the exterior and interior, so they could make, they could fit an entire planet inside of that ship simply by editing. This is a very, very common thing in movies and television. And even in some games like Star Wars The Old Republic, when you enter your ship in Star Wars The Old Republic, if you play that like I do, you're really not entering your ship. You're entering a separate world space, a separate game cell. And the interiors just don't have to fit into the exterior models. They're entirely separate. That is not the case here. And this ship, the VCX 100, as much as I like it, you really can't get that interior that we see in Star Wars Rebels into this model in real time. So I had to make my own interior for this. It is not uncommon. It happens a lot because movies and televisions, they have the freedom to do that and always do. So, for instance, the upper deck was so tiny. It's just a mock-up here. There's just no room for your avatar. You won't be able to move. You won't be able to sit down, stand up, walk around. It was useless. As a practical thing, it was useless. So I just did it for aesthetic's sake. And had I chosen to actually make the interiors we see it in Star Wars Rebels, the exterior of the ship would not look like the VCX 100 at all. So the compromise is make it look like the VCX 100 and give it a nice interior that is just different than what is in the television series. So a little bit of a look at the ship here, although we've been staring at it a bit anyway. Oops, didn't want to go down that far. Let us go inside. I used ladders rather than turbo lifts here, since in the show I noticed they have ladders in the ship. So just left click on the ladder, and my jet boots. Love those things I made. So here we have like a common area with that half circle bench that we see in Star Wars a lot. This is another role play thing here. All of this is unnecessary, and it doesn't bother me that these things are technically useless. I mean, why do we need chairs? Why do we need beds in Second Life? Why do we need a house? Why do we need different hairstyles? Why do we need different appearances for avatars? We have a name over our head. We can have a name over our head. Why do we have changes of clothes? So I do things that should be in these ships, even though there's no practical use for them. You could make this, I could script this to be a communication device if I wanted to, but I save the script memory. I used to do those things and just found they weren't used that often anyway. So this is just for role play. You click on you can click on the hollow image and you get a new image in its place, and click on the base to turn it on and off. This thing over here, a little mock-up of the Star Wars Auto Chef. Around here, cargo. And here is the cockpit. And the workstations have some animations. Each workstation has a pose with a work animation on it. They serve as a seat for when you're in flight. These are non-physical ships, so people do have to be seated when they're flying. Let's go towards the stern of the ship. And we have the docking hatches, port and starboard, one to each side. And here we have guest crew quarters, lockers, beds for guest or crew. And across the corridor is the captain's quarters, pilot's room, with a bed and a workstation and the Star Wars archives. I always liked that. Always liked that design in Star Wars. I don't know why. There's so much about the Star Wars aesthetics that I like. And in the back, I decided I would put hygiene and medical facilities. Again, of course, all useless, but they're great for roleplay and atmosphere. So, this is your back to your Colto tank, depending upon what era you happen to want to be role-playing in. And the most detailed deck plans always feature the Star Wars Fresher, the bathroom, as these ships were supposed to be homes. They're supposed to be able to travel, across the galaxy, go long periods of time, that resupply. So, yeah, we don't need any of this, but it adds to the atmosphere, so I do it. Okay. And now just a brief look at how to work the landing gear and fly. I just left click. You don't have to say start or anything. These are non-physical ships that start automatically. You can see the landing gear. Now if I put my mouse cursor between these two larger of the 4 sublight engines, you'll see I get a hand icon in second wave. That means you can click something. So I click it, and the gear goes up. And if I click it again, gear goes down. So I'm going to click it once more, the gear up, and the movement keys will move us, just like when you're walking. And let's show you up and down is just page down is what makes you move down. And page up is what will make you move up. It's that simple. So that's about all for the VCX 100. And I will be back with another video on one of my other Star Wars starships that I have built.